You know, the way it opens, Tom Hardy is giving instruction to a number of mob guys. He's laying out some things that they have to do, and they're disagreeable. So he says, all right, give me a moment, I'll come back. So he goes out and he talks to Pierce Brosnan, who's the boss, right? Pierce tells him what to do, and he comes back and he does it. And I'm gonna tell you this, he kills every one of them. So now they're in a meeting with the entire family, and they're talking about the drug business. They're talking about fentanyl. Conrad is leading this whole meeting. His daughters are there. His son-in-laws are there. Everybody's there. The women, everybody. And he's talking about the family illegal business. And then he goes up to Archie, and he looks at him, and he grabs his hands, and he says, "You double-crossed me." Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. Hope everybody is doing well. All is very good, very blessed on this end. And as always, my friends, I give all the praise, honor, glory, and thanksgiving to our God for that. And speaking about our God, for those of you who are asking me to talk a little bit more about my faith, which I do all the time, for some reason you're missing it, but go to the interview on YouTube that Greg Glory just released with me. And it was an interview for about an hour and a half, and you're going to hear all my testimony. Greg Glory is a wonderful pastor, good friend, 26 years we know each other, but he did a brilliant job in his interview, and a lot's going to come out. I think it'll be very encouraging for all of you. So go to Greg Glory's YouTube channel, and you'll see it on there. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the new television series Mobland, and it's brilliant. I have to say this. There's been 2 episodes so far. Brilliant. Tom Hardy is the star. Pierce Brosnan is in it. Helen Mirren, all brilliant actors and actresses. Really amazing. But I have to say this, I don't know how many of you have watched the series Peaky Blinders. Again, brilliant series, takes place in the United Kingdom. When I first started watching it, I couldn't get into it because I couldn't understand them. And so I gave up. And then my brother-in-law said, "No, Michael, forget about it. You got to watch it this way. Put the subtitles on." So I put the subtitles on. It took me a little bit to get into it, but once I did, brilliant series, loved it, watched it all the way through. I wish they would continue it. I don't think they are, but it was brilliant. Mobland is going to be the same exact way I can see it. Tom Hardy, brilliant. Pierce Brosnan, brilliant as always. And Helen Mirren, I mean, what can you say? She doesn't know how to do anything bad. She was terrific. But you got to put the subtitles on, at least for me. When I did my tours in the United Kingdom, and I would open it up for a Q&A, I had to have somebody translate, or interpret for me because I couldn't understand the way they asked the questions.
Well, what are you saying?
So, when they got that deep accent, it's tough. We speak American, they speak British, it's different, trust me. Ireland, forget about it. Same thing there. You don't understand these people. Liverpool, forget it. You can't understand them. Scotland, no way. It is English, but not the English we speak, so you need help. But it's brilliant, and it's a takeoff. I think it was originally going to be a spin-off of the series Ray Donovan. I don't know if you've ever seen that, domestically produced, brilliant series. Ray Donovan was the fixer. For any kind of problem they came up with his major clients from Hollywood usually, or his attorney, or whatever, he would fix it no matter what it is. Somebody got killed, they call Ray, he fixes it. Somebody's in trouble, they call Ray, he fixes it. Well, Tom Hardy plays that role here. And but what I love about this series, I don't want to tell you that everything that happened in the episode. I'm going to give you an overview. But Tom Hardy is brilliant because there's a comedic part of this. You didn't see that in Ray Donovan, but you're seeing it here. Some of his lines were really funny, and yet it's a serious series. The way it opens, I'll tell you how it opens. Tom Hardy is giving instruction to a number of mob guys, and there's probably 10 of them in the room, maybe more, 10 or 12. And he's laying out some things that they have to do, and they're disagreeable. So he says, all right, give me a moment, I'll come back. So he goes out and he talks to Pierce Brosnan, who's the boss, right? Gives him a call. And Pierce tells him what to do, and he comes back and he does it. And I'm going to tell you this, he kills every one of them. And so that's how it starts. And you see it takes off from there. So Tom Hardy is actually the fixer, or, you want to call him underboss, whatever you want to call him, for Pierce Brosnan, who is in charge of the Harrington family, who is the Irish mob. And again, he's just brilliant in it. So as this episode 1 develops, we start to see where the story is going. And during this first episode, it was the way it evolves. Pierce Brosnan's grandson gets into a argument in a club, and he's an arrogant, cocky kind of kid, and he gets into an argument in a club with somebody, and the guy is about to stab him, but he stabs the guy first. That's kind of that starts this whole plot that's going to happen over the next 2 episodes. I'm sure it'll evolve from something there, but over the next 2 episodes. And then the kid leaves the club and goes out and meets with his friend, Tommy, who was in the club when the stabbing happened. And they get into a little conversation, and then the kid Eddie, who is Pierce Brosnan's grandson, leaves and goes back home. And we don't see Tommy anymore. We don't know what happened to him, right? Just gone. Well, Tommy turns out to be the son of another mob boss, Richie, and Conrad, Pierce Brosnan, they don't get along. So Richie now comes around, he's looking for his son. Where's my son? I heard he was with, Pierce Brosnan's grandson. So this thing evolves. Tom Hardy has to go and see him. Richie is a threatening guy. We'll go to war if we have to. I want to know where my son is. You know, Bronson's son was with him last, and what's going on. So through that episode, they're trying to find out, where his son is. And Hardy is in the middle of this, and he's trying to, smooth it over between both families. At one point in time, Pierce Brosnan was going to kill Richie. He had a shot at him. He had him ready when he was coming out of a club, but he decides not to, right? And then we flip to a scene. I have to say something. In these Irish, British mob stories, the women play a major role. In Peaky Blinders, the women were part of the family. They gave orders, they talked, they knew, they were part of it. And I have to say this, in Italy, not here in America, but in Italy, the women play a bigger role in the mafia. Here in America, they don't play any role, none at all. In Italy, they did somewhat. There was actually even a woman boss in Italy, and I did a story about that. I forget her name right now. But in the UK, Ireland, they're intimately involved. So we go and we see a scene. Helen Mirren plays, her name is Maeve, I believe. She plays Pierce Brosnan's wife, right? And we can see right away, she's cold and she's stern. And there is a family meeting. And just before the meeting, Maeve, Helen Mirren, tells Pierce Brosnan, who is the boss, right, Conrad, that your best friend Archie has been dealing behind your back. He's been double-crossing you. Archie and Conrad are friends their entire life, 25, 30 years. They're childhood friends, right? So now they're in a meeting with the entire family, and they're talking about the drug business. They're talking about fentanyl. Conrad is leading this whole meeting. His daughters are there. His son-in-laws are there. Everybody's there, the women, everybody. And he's talking about the family illegal business. And then he goes up to Archie and he looks at him and he grabs his hands and he says, "You double-crossed me." And then something happens, and I'm not going to get into all that happens. And boom, people are a little bit shocked about it. And that's how the episode 1 ends. And we see Maeve, who is very cold-hearted about it. This is it. It's business. She's the tough one here. No question about it. So then we get into episode 2. And in episode 2, Tom Hardy, the fixer, has to fix whatever happened in episode 1. And the story goes, he has to fix some things that happened with Archie. He has to, again, deal with Richie to try to find out, where his son is, because Richie now is getting upset and threatens a mob war. And there's a whole bunch of things. Eddie, the grandson, he's a little wise-ass kind of guy. But Tom Hardy sits him in a room, and Tom Hardy's got that scare. He can scare the hell out of you, right? And he says, "Look, you're going to tell me what happened here. What happened to Tommy?" Well, we don't know what happened with Tommy. And Eddie doesn't say anything about what happened with Tommy, but it's Tom Hardy's deal to try to find out because he wants to avoid this whole mob war, right? So, and I have to tell you this, the language in this film, I mean, forget it. If you don't want to hear profanity, then don't watch this thing. If you don't put the subtitles on, you may not understand them anyway, but if you got the subtitles on, you'll understand them. Tom Hardy now is on a quest to try to find Tommy, to try to find out what happened to him. And again, a lot of humor in this. The script is brilliant, I think. In my opinion, was very, very well done. A lot of humor in it. So, he's now trying to find out, based upon what Eddie told him, what happened. So he has to go into this club, the last place that Eddie and Tommy were, and find out if anybody knows where Tommy is. And he goes into the club and he just wreaks havoc in that club. Wreaks havoc. Grabs the bartender, beats, oh, you got to see the way he beats him up in case he knows anything, whatever. And towards the end of this episode, we find out, you know, where Tommy is. We find out, I'm not going to reveal what it is, but we find out where Tommy is. And Richie, in the meantime, has a meeting with Tom Hardy just prior to this. And Richie starts to tell Tom Hardy, you were supposed to have my son back. Where is he? And Tom Hardy says, I'm on it. I'm looking for it. But then Richie starts to reveal something about Tom Hardy's daughter and alleges that if you don't get me back my Tommy, you're not going to see your daughter Gina. Gina was her name. And during this time, by the way, you know, it's always great when these series bring in some family issues. That was the best thing with The Sopranos. You know, it was all about the family stuff. Well, they bring it in here too. And Tom Hardy and his wife are having a rough time. She's talking about going to therapy. He don't want to go to therapy. She goes to a therapist. And so they're having some struggles, whatever. There is one scene there that's kind of funny. You know, the cops are trying to find out what happened with this guy Archie also, right? So they raid Tom Hardy's house in the morning and they lock him up and they bring him down to the station house. Well, the way they come in and do the raid, the family's not even bothered by it. Gina, the daughter, is like, okay, here you go. The wife is not bothered. Tom Hardy said, okay, you know, put the cuffs on me, let's go. I'll see you in a little while. It was like no big deal. Now, listen, I know about these 6 o'clock in the morning raids. I've been, you know, I would say the victim of a couple of them. They're not pleasant, trust me. You know, I have to tell you this, and this is kind of sad, but it's true. Because of the fact that I was arrested a couple of times, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, bullhorns, sirens, you know, gonna break down the door, the whole thing. The last time that happened to me was in 1991, I believe. I got to tell you this, until this very day, if somebody rings my doorbell early in the morning, my wife don't want to answer it. She's worried. She's nervous. That's the kind of impact it had on her. And I get it. Now, I don't get nervous because I know there's nothing wrong, and I've been through it. But it can have that kind of an impact. These early morning raids are not pretty. But the way Tom Hardy deals with it and his family, it's like, okay, matter of fact. So they bring him down to the station house and say, hey, where's Archie? They're trying to make a snitch out of him. They offer him a deal. They say, look, the whole Harrington mob family is going to go down. And if you help us out here and let us know what happened to this guy Archie, because he's missing, you know, we'll give you a parachute. In other words, you'll be able to get out of it. And Tom Hardy starts kibitzing with him, going back and forth. Oh, a parachute. Well, I need that for a plane or a train. It's great dialogue. Anyway, Tom Hardy's not buying it. You know, the lawyer comes, takes Tom Hardy out of it. That's the end of that. But, you know, the plot starts to thicken a little bit. And then there's another side plot going on, which I don't really understand yet. It didn't develop. But it seems that Kevin, who is the son of Conrad and the father of Eddie, the guy that stabbed the guy, the kid, his wife and him seem to be a little bit estranged. And she is estranged with her father, who's a very powerful guy. And she, in the interim, is trying to set up a deal with some other very powerful people that want to meet with her father. Now, we don't know where that's going yet. It's a subplot. We'll see how it develops. But, you know, it's interesting in these series how they start to develop different subplots all along. So I don't want to get into it too further. There is a very climatic ending at the ending of episode 2, the same at the ending of episode 1, brilliantly written. But I think this is going to be a great series. I really mean it. I'm into it already. I'm going to watch the whole thing. I don't know if I'll review every episode. If you want me to, please tell me in the comments. If not, then we'll wait until the end. But it's going to be brilliant. You know, I got to tell you, British actors, they're terrific. Tom Hardy is terrific. Pierce Brosnan, I love him. You know, I always love Brosnan. I always loved him. And Helen Mirren, she's terrific. You know, all of these actors are brilliant. And this is a Guy Ritchie. You know who Guy Ritchie is. So when you know Guy Ritchie is directing something, you know there's going to be a lot of violence. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. That's just his MO. But he does a brilliant job. He's terrific. So my recommendation is for you to go watch this series, Mobland. It's on a streaming platform. You can watch it. They release it every Sunday. They release a new episode. I think there's going to be 8 episodes in the first season. I'm almost positive this will have legs and it's going to go into season 2, 3, and 4. If it continues, like Peaky Blinders, was brilliant right till the end. So, brilliant series. I advise you to watch it. You know, again, it's called Mobland. That's it. And we'll continue to review it. So, my friends, how do I always leave you? But before I do, michaelfranzese.com/family. How come you're not in the community yet? It's great. It's growing. Tremendous platform. So many resources in there. So much of me. We do Q&As. We do Zoom calls. We're doing live events. We have Bible studies for those of you who want. We have so many different activities. People are really bonding together. We need to bring back a sense of community in this country. So please go and join. If you don't want to stay in it, you jump right out. There's no contract. michaelfranzese.com/family. The last thing I'm going to tell you is today, my wine is flying off the shelves, people. You know, please support Franzese wine. Take a bottle. I know you're going to love it. No question about it. You can get it online, franzesewine.com. We're in 7 states, growing. We have a non-alcoholic, so look into it. How do I always leave you? Same way, my friends. Won't change. Be safe. Be healthy. Yes, I mean this. God bless each and every one of you, families, neighborhoods, communities, and catch that interview that Greg Laurie did with me. I think you'll be encouraged by it. And yes, God bless America. I'll see you all next time. Take care. My friends, if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to give you an opportunity to become my partner in business. Franzese Wine experiencing tremendous growth over the past couple of years, and we're going to experience even further growth in the next few years. You're going to have an opportunity to be my partner because you've been supporting me, you've been my fan base, and I want to share this with you. So go to invest.franzesewine.com, and offer you shouldn't refuse.